All right, good morning, cyber traders. Welcome on back here this Tuesday, October 11th, shortly after 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Good morning to Michael, Andrea, Mark, Janice, Andre, Egan. Perhaps good evening to Troy, all the way from Perth. Great to see Troy and any of our new members joining us here live inside the Cyber Group room. And for all of us back on social media, Facebook Live and YouTube, welcome on back as well. You can hear me, but you can't see me. I actually have a maintenance guy running through my apartment right now. Not in my home office, but my apartment. I ended up having a big issue last night. My fridge ended up dying out of nowhere. Heard a couple clicks out of nowhere, ended up dying. And I ended up noticing it a little bit later on as well. So I'm like checking my freezer. I see like big steaks and ground beef I got. And it's all like thawed out. I'm like, what the hell? I had to fly out to Walmart, get a quick big cooler and ice. So I got that going on this morning, folks. How about that? So enough about me. It's been a nice morning with pre-market trading at least. I did jump into the LASE here, so I want to see this make a nice continued push up. Nice trade, though, to take some profits on off the 262. So if it pulls back a tiny bit further, I'll take the remaining shares out. But I already took some profit right off of 270, 269. It made a nice little squeeze up early in the morning. I'll go over this trade more so Insider Live Traders Talk Workshop. How about that for Warren and Grant, Mark, Troy, Janice, etc., including Warren, who picked up just about 20 cents himself just now inside our live trading room. He got in from a lower price than me, got in right off 252, ended up squeezing it up very nicely. So great job from Warren and perhaps anyone else that was inside this LASE trade early this morning. So some news came out on LASE. I'll get the news here this morning on a few different trades here for the morning watch list. So basically, the news out on LASE here, Laser Photonics, and they received an order from the U.S. Navy, terms not disclosed, for clean tech laser blasting system for marine MROs. So at least some news coming out, some interesting news with that, with the Navy. The fact that we don't know the terms of the deal, that's a little sus because if it's a really big deal, if it's a large billion-dollar deal, multi-billion-dollar deal, God bless, this thing should completely take off. But hey, you see some contracts out there just with and with any company, and if it's like not for like that much, just a few million at that, it's like that's not really that big. You typically see a lot bigger. So terms not disclosed, made a nice move up so far this morning. Hopefully it holds from right around here and continues. We'll definitely start by putting this on our watch list at least. But again, though, this was a great little pre-market trade from early this morning. Not just to say it went up, but it's liquid, it's cheap. Any one of us could look to get our hands on this inside our live trading room. It's not too volatile. But with that, though, there is a few levels on this trade that we'll look to go over inside our live Traders Talk workshop this morning. So again, that's for all of us inside the live trading room. For any of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, if you wanted to join that workshop later this morning, I'll just say now, just go right down to the link on the blue banner below the stream right there. Michael getting about $2.50, just a handful of shares, as he says, on the DICE trade, DICE. Hard to borrow on TradeStation, but perhaps if you can get the shares early, you can look to try and take a short. Definitely more of a gamble than anything. This is on a 20 to 30 cent spread minimum. So, DICE ended up making this enormous push up early from like 27 up to 50. But again, though, I mean, we see that type of pump up pretty frequently. You don't want to just jump into that trade, though, because of that, because for as much as it already pumped up by the time we focused on it, you got to wonder, when is it going to begin to pull back? Now, in that sense, at least you could try and assume a psychological level, like a half century, like $50. That would be a psychological level to watch. And with that, the first test of that resistance, it ended up holding, broke above it and pulled back, a false breakout. But then, from that point, ended up dipping down a little bit. So it looks like that's where Michael just got in right around from. The DICE trade going into the open, again, it's up. It's off of news. I think it's only up off of phase one news as well. When I say only, the pharma companies, there's phase one, phase two, phase three, then FDA approval. That's as far as I know, at least. But, phase one clinical trial news of their drug, hey, it led to a nice 86% plus pop so far, but it's just more of a gamble at this stage. So, just because it's top percent gainer doesn't mean that it's a great stock to follow at this point. The LASE trade, a lot better of a stock to follow. That's up half the amount as DICE, right? And that's easier of a stock to follow. All right, we keep it going though. We'll go from top to bottom now at this point. Hey, Dice, little move up earlier. LASE, little move up earlier. Yeah, the JOBY also, JOBY. This ended up making a nice run prior to 8 o'clock and a little bit afterwards. Some news came out on JOBY this morning, which I'll get to. So Delta Airlines partnering with fly taxi maker for rides to airports, that being JOBY, looks like it's an upfront equity investment of 60 million, which again, I feel like you tend to see, larger investments, but either way, 60 million, we'll take it, right? Total investment up to 200 million. All right, there we go. That's a little bit more. So with that, led to a nice run early this morning in pre-market. It's beginning to pop back up and over 450 and up and over the VWAP 449. So this has the makings for a nice trade as well. JOBY, I was looking for this to bounce off of 450 earlier. It started to, moved up like 8 or 10 cents, and then it came back down pretty nastily. Actually, a little bit more. Moved up pretty nicely up towards 470, but then pulled back. All right, so LASE and JOBY, good, two good stocks to start the morning off with at least. Now, though, here's the thing. Otherwise, you got Blue Apron. APRN had a nice pop earlier. I didn't check on news for this thing. Let me see. I didn't see it at the time. Oh, okay. Here we go. Some news out on Blue Apron. Blue Apron is now available in the U.S. Amazon store without subscription. So, it's not even to say just with subscription. I know we're all subscribed to too much crap out there with all these streaming services and this and that. Well, hey, I mean, Blue Apron, they're now available without subscription in the U.S. Amazon store. So that's the news that came out early this morning. Led to a nice pop, led to a nice move up afterwards. And for right now, it's trying to grind back up and over the VWAP here. So, hopefully this becomes a lot better of a trade after the market opens. Blue Apron, we're definitely familiar with this stock. It's run for us in the past. So why not? All right, well, speaking of stocks that have ran for us in the past and why not? Well, the reason why I wouldn't want to follow tops is because this thing, more often than it's run for us, it's been a tease. And with that, it's just a really spotty chart here in pre-market, thin book. It's not worth it here this morning here for the tops. So, good for Apron, not good for tops here. Not going to follow tops, at least so far. If it becomes a better trade after the market opens, I'm sure that we'll see it pop up on our gainers, scanners again, and look to call it out from that point. All right, saw it up a little bit more earlier here, a little expensive, but Coinbase, some news came out with Google now accepting payment through Coinbase for their cloud, I think. Let me just get the full headline out for Coin. Led to a nice pop after 8 o'clock, right? So, Coin, not Koi. All right, so Coinbase shares trading higher after Google said it would use Coinbase to start letting users or customers pay for cloud services with crypto. All right, so led to a big pop at first, and now it's only up 3.5% just about. It's a little expensive as well. If it was looking a lot stronger in sense of upward direction, I would probably put it on our main list. I love Bitcoin, but right now, it's not that great of a trade. Popped off the news, but pulled back quite a bit. Perhaps after the market opens up, we'll recall it out. Got American Airlines here making a nice push, perhaps in sympathy with the Delta news that came out. This was actually up a little bit more percentage-wise compared to Delta. So one more time, I'll check the news here for American. It looks like what we have here, American Airlines sees Q3 total revenue per available seat mile up approximately 25% compared to 2019. I guess that's pre-COVID. Sees total revenue up 13%. Just about compared to 2019 pre-COVID. So with that, led to a good pop at first, right? I'm more inclined to follow American Airlines here compared to others, just given the overall activity. It's normally on our side list. The airlines, the cruise lines, the gaming stock, all of those COVID stocks back, in 2020 when the market tanked and bounced, we ended up trading them. So that's where I say the side list. This has always been on our side list. And off of news, hey, why not follow American here going into the open? I'm not going to look to jump to every airline, folks. Even Delta with the news that came out with, I believe JOBY that was. JOBY is the one that we're going to trade. American's the airline. As of now, we'll look to trade. After the open, perhaps otherwise. But let's start off with American here for right now. JOEV, this was a little disappointing in pre-market here. I still may look to put this on our watch list actually as well. News out on JOEV. This is an EV company. So we've traded the stock quite a bit in the past. So news that came out I saw this morning, Zeba, which I don't know the company, but the company Zeba signs binding agreement to purchase 3,000 Canoe, which is JOEV electric vehicles. So led to a nice pop at first. I wanted a lot more on this trade. Unfortunately, it just held right off 148, 149, and that was that. Let's jump to the loser side next. And if there's anything lastly that makes a big pop as we're going through, then we'll see. But for right now, I guess I'll kind of just keep this on the side. SPWR dropped off quite a bit early this morning. Chart looked a little spotty at first, but now it's starting to drop off even more, showing a little bit more activity actually over the last probably 10, 20 minutes. But yeah, I wish it was trading a little bit more volume even than this 66,000. So, I'm sure some news came out on this trade, perhaps earnings. Wow, I got Uber down big, Dash down big, but Uber's trading a hell of a lot of volume early this morning. So let me just check out Uber here pretty quickly. So Uber and Lyft shares are trading lower on reports of the U.S. Department of Labor releasing a proposal to make companies reclassify independent contractors as employees. That's the headline that came out there just now or just earlier on Uber and Lyft. Perhaps you'll get a little sympathy on Dash with that as well. Um, I have no opinion on that. Honestly, I don't know the first thing about the terms of independent contractors as employees. There are some folks here that do because they have family members that are independent contractors. And actually, there was a student here that's been with CTU for a little while. Her son was an initial employee of Uber, not like a driver, but like just a full employee once they became public. So I believe he ended up having some shares at first. So she was talking to us about that at the time. A little while back, some news came out with independent contractor, policies and terms with employees. So with that, I don't know that topic that much, folks. I don't want to give you my opinion on it. We're gonna trade the volume and the direction off of it though. So obviously Uber's down big, trending down. It broke under 26, but now it's been holding back above it. The more it needles below that 26 level, you should get a pretty big break of that support, a lot bigger than what you had just before. We'll take a look on Lyft here in a moment. Lyft making a very similar move, actually a lot less expensive nowadays than Uber. I think there was a time where Lyft was more. But yeah, we'll put both on our watch list right now. Lyft and Uber both. Big bounce off 12 on that Lyft trade. So you would assume Lyft for 12 to be a major support level on the Lyft trade. All right, well, we'll take it as a day trade here for the morning, folks. Billy, BILI, also down big early this morning. A little spotty chart, but trading good volume, shortable. It's down over 5%. Wouldn't hurt us to put this on our main list for right now, which I will do. All right, 13 big level here coming up on the Billy trade. Only about 2,800 shares on the bid sitting there in pre-market, but that will likely become bigger after the market opens up. Seems like that price also got tested earlier in the morning, so probably some good volume already traded off of there prior to 8 o'clock. All right, I took remaining shares out on the LASE trade. Just took some sense on the last few shares there, but hey, profit's profit. Just start the morning off with a little cushion amount. We're not trying to hit a home run right out the gate. If we do, it's a gift. But LASE was a nice little move earlier. Hopefully, it becomes a better trade after the market opens up. That's all. All right, folks, I think that'll just about do it for me here this morning. Once again, Fausto will be out just, I don't want to say indefinitely, but likely for the remainder of this week. Just it's tough for him to work off of his main computer up on the second floor coming off his big knee operation. So he's going to be inside our live trading room here at the market open, right at the opening bell for Karen and Michael, Patrick and Mark. Fausto will be joining us just coming up here very shortly. But for all of us on Facebook Live, YouTube, hey, a couple of things, just housekeeping notes before we close out. Once again, we have our Traders Talk live workshop that'll be conducted inside our live trading room coming up at 11 o'clock this morning. So for Troy and Mark and Karen and Michael and Grant, let me just one more housekeeping note before we finish up with that in mind. That's right. But if you have any questions, folks, feel free to email me, josh@ctutrading.com. Any questions that you have, any trades that you want to go over, please. We're going to begin Traders Talk inside our live trading room at 11 o'clock Eastern coming up. Just be inside this room right now, or just stay in our room at 11, and I'll be back on the mic right at that time. Of course, we have a lot of trading prior to that, though. For all of us on social media, again, if you wanted to join our live workshop, feel more than free to go right down to the link on the blue banner below the stream to get yourself started. I do always like to post my email here at the end of these streams here as well. Just any questions that you folks have, feel more than free to send over, josh@ctutrading.com. But before I sign off, we got to give a big birthday shout out to one of my friends, to one of our longtime students, but more importantly, one of my friends, Grant. Happy birthday, Grant. I'd messaged him much earlier this morning in pre-market. I didn't want to put him on the spot early there, but here we are now in the morning meeting with everyone, with us right now. So happy birthday, Grant. It's been a blast having you a part of just our live trading room. Just been a blast having you as a friend of mine. Always a great contributor here inside our live trading room. Hey, I'll tell you, man, Grant will tell you how old he is, how young he is for that matter, but he's a great trader. He's living life. And, I know that he has a big day planned ahead of him later on today, a big meal, he told me. So, I'm sure he's looking forward to that. So once again, happy birthday, Grant. I hope you enjoy the day, my friend. All right, folks. I will talk to you all soon here, folks, coming up at the opening bell. Take care.
Become a Cyber Group member today. Just click the link below and receive all these amazing products and a world of knowledge for just $9. Do it today.